Hey, do you love the Songs or Spells podcast presented by me, Karlyn King? And do you want to learn more about all the easy spiritual tips that we discuss each week? I've personally manifested so many things and I'm really living proof that it works. So come and subscribe to the Patreon. Once you subscribe, you have full access to the entire back catalogue of over 70 exclusive weekly Patreon episodes. And there's even a weekly group connect call, which is optional, where we share tips on how to apply this knowledge to our everyday badass lives. To join, head on over to the bio link in the show notes or on our Instagram bio at Songs or Spells Podcast or our TikTok bio at Songs or Spells. Click join the Patreon and I'll see you there. And this week's guest is Amy Walpole from Witch Fever, one of my favourite bands at the moment, hailing from Manchester. Steve Lamacq said this is something that could scorch lawns and burn down buildings. This is Witch Fever, and that's exactly how they sound. Concocting a potent sonic assault recalling Black Sabbath, Savages, and even Bleach era Nirvana, they create a confrontational racket taking no prisoners. They've always defied expectations, and I cannot wait for you to hear this. We discuss everything from religious trauma to misdiagnosis to satanic panic, and I even read tarot for Amy. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Songs or Spells podcast. So I thought a really good question to start, Amy, would be, are songs a form of spells for you?
I feel like, yes, definitely, especially when it's my own songs and like my own songwriting. I think that obviously music is really powerful and I definitely take a lot from other people's music and I'm like, honestly, if I like a song, I will listen to it over and over and over and over again until I'm absolutely sick of it, just because it sort of completely changes the way that I feel and I don't know, it makes me think about things in a different way. And then like writing my own music as well, writing songs is very like self-reflective, kind of like meditative. Is that the right word? Meditative in yeah, in a way. So yeah, I mean there's power in music and power in songwriting.
And I understand, and from your lyrics and videos and your whole vibe of Witch Fever, did you have quite a religious upbringing?
Yes. So I was brought up going to a church, a charismatic Christian church. And yeah, me and my family, I left, I think when I was about 16, and then the rest of my family left shortly after. But yeah, it's weird because I always, after that experience, I always thought of myself as someone that was not spiritual at all. And I was just like, I'm an atheist. There's nothing else like in the universe, whatever. It just is what it is. And I was very like cynical and like skeptical about things like that. And then a couple of years ago, I was introduced to like witchcraft, like I guess like pagan spirituality and things like that. And I've been interested in it ever since. So yeah, I think the Christianity thing definitely stopped my interest in that for a really long time and I did have a sort of a natural interest in it, but the because I hated church so much and it was quite a problematic church for a lot of reasons. It sort of stopped me from searching for spirituality like outside of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we totally agree on that. So I view all of that organized religion as very oppressive, very
Mhm.
controlling, and that's no disrespect to I mean, there's people in my family who follow a Christian or a Catholic path and they're okay, you know, but for me
Mm-hmm.
personally, yeah, it's really patriarchal, it's really oppressive, it's very limiting as well. I think it takes away
Mm-hmm.
like your internal power, your ability
Yeah,
to be in control of your own path. So,
definitely. I mean,
yeah,
I can only speak for my experiences, and I can only speak for like what I've seen of Christianity in particular. So in terms of other religion, I I don't know, it's not really my I don't feel like it's my place to speak on that. But yeah, I have been outspoken about Christianity and what I experienced of it. And I feel like I don't know, it's difficult because like I totally respect that people have a faith and people believe in God, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me. That's not an issue. But it's just, I feel like it's a very easy way for men specifically to gain power and control people, do things that are really, really not okay. So that's where I have a problem with it, is when
same.
people use it for their own, I don't know, to gain power.
Yeah, it's control, right? That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And
Yeah.
it's been so interesting because there's been such an upsurge in like witchcraft, spirituality, some people call it self-development, mindset,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. It's been such an upsurge, like really since I would say the pandemic is when it's really kind of upsurged. And I think people are starting to question, you know, like state control and all that kind of stuff, and things that maybe are obscured from our knowledge a
Hmm.
lot of the time. And yeah, just questioning the status quo a lot. And also on TV, there's been a lot of depictions of how Christianity was forced on the world as well,
Hmm.
and to the detriment of people who had more person-centered beliefs. I really connect with that as well. I think because I'm Scottish as well, I feel quite
Yeah.
to Scandinavia, and yeah, I'm really into all that kind of just person-centered, being in control. And I think
Hmm.
for especially for non-men, it's really important.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree. Yeah, I think I'm actually reading a book at the moment called Queens of the Wild.
Yes.
I've not read that much of it yet, but the place that I'm at right now is talking about how Britain used to be very pagan
Mm,
led, and then with when industrialization came and capitalism started to form, and it, when it became more work led and led by the elite and it pushed rural people out, it also pushed paganism out.
yeah.
And Christianity was the sort of main religion. So yeah, it's interesting. In the book, it talks about how the elite used Christianity as a way to control people.
This is deep, deep. But yeah, this is totally what I believe as well. So, and that's the foundation of the podcast is music as a tool for empowerment and seeing beyond the bullshit. So
Totally,
yeah,
yeah.
totally very aligned, just as I suspect. I wondered if you've used your practices at all to build momentum in your career with your band, because your band are just exploded.
So you know what? Actually, no. I so my our label manager, sorry, I'm holding a toy. It
No,
helps me concentrate.
yeah, cool.
My label manager, Julie Weir, she is a witch and practices witchcraft, and I have a sneaky feeling that she has some manifestation for sure. But I actually haven't. I am very much like very early in my journey, I
Oh,
guess, of witchcraft, and it's only been like a couple of years since I started to think about it. So I'm at this point at the moment where part of me is still a little skeptical and doesn't a part of me is kind of like unsure in a way, like what I'm capable of and how much people are capable of in that way. And then part of me is just terrified of any kind of responsibility So I'm scared of meddling
Yeah.
things that I'm not meant to meddle in,
Yeah.
basically. So I do sort of like I charge crystals like with intentions
Mm.
and stuff, and I collect lots of different objects from like nature that I feel like I've been drawn to and they hold a certain power, but I don't sit and specifically sort of ask for certain things to happen in my life. I don't do spells of that nature, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm kind of just winging it at the moment. I'm just reading a lot about it and just like seeing where I fit within it.
Cool. That's so great. Yeah, and everyone finds their own path. And
Yeah.
I've kind of come to realize that all of these abilities are in everyone. It's just that we've not been shown how to
Mhm.
use them. Yeah. So
Mhm.
totally
Yeah.
sounds like you're really enjoying that path as well. And yeah, Julie Weir is the Queen Witch. Shout out to
Yeah.
Julie.
Yeah, she's great.
Totally, totally amazing. And I just wondered because you are very open about these beliefs, you're very unapologetic and in your music and in your songs and in your lyrics. I wondered if you've ever had any backlash.
Not really. We've never had. We have like trolls
Okay.
online. We have people making like shitty comments. We have a lot of men commenting like about our bodies and
Wow.
what we're wearing. But in terms of the Christianity thing specifically, nothing, barely anything, apart from we get a few comments like you need to find Jesus, that kind of thing. Or I've had some comments from Christians that are saying like that, oh, I was in the wrong church and I just need to find a better church and shit like that, and trying to like talk me around. And I'm like,
Wow.
that's just not the place. But like, people have messaged me before and said stuff like that, and I'm just like, you really? But yeah, nothing. We've not really had any backlash for anything we say that's to do with like politics, social politics, that kind of thing. We do have a guy that is on our Facebook sometimes that likes to troll us, but yeah, nothing like that's an issue, nothing that is sort of like a problem that's taking over like
Yeah.
what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have some headline written about us. It's crazy.
Because that's the assumption people make, right? So like uninformed people just make that assumption.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously your band name, Witch Fever, is in reference to like the kind of satanic panic of,
Yeah.
of yesteryear, which is totally disgusting and still happens to this day if you're
Yeah.
usually a woman in power. Yeah, definitely.
Totally. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so and I think a lot of people don't realize is like the idea of like, Satan is obviously a Christian construct, as you'll know
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, witches had nothing to do with
No, that's
that.
nothing to do with us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's just a lot of like misinformation, isn't it? And like ignorance and kind of misunderstanding. And people get so caught up in it, don't they? It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Even around like there was a lot of that around Sam Smith recently as
Oh, I've
well.
seen.
Sam's videos and claiming that they were satanic.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. Like it's just so stupid. And like people claiming that they're like dressed inappropriately and it's like harmful the way that they dress and perform, and it's just like, oh my god, all these people, like, I don't know, it's just a shame really that like people won't just get off their back, just
Yeah,
let them do what they want to do.
yeah, exactly. They're making great art, you know. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you Spellcast, your weekly astrological guide. So on Monday, 17th of July, we have a massive new moon. It's a super moon in Cancer. Now, this is the sign of emotions, security, and safety. So you're probably going to be feeling a little bit nostalgic about what has gone to pass this first 6 months of the year. So think about how far you've come, have gratitude, count your blessings, and get ready for some big changes as we move into the rest of 2023. If you're ready, willing, and able, and you've processed the past, it is go time. Now, back to my chat with Amy. I wanted to ask about your icons, heroes, influences, because it is really diverse, your sound.
I think that it's funny because when I get asked this question, I never really, I don't have like a go-to answer, because I've always sort of felt that I don't have a hero really, or like an idol in that way. Maybe because of my upbringing with how I was meant to be viewing God and Jesus. I feel quite neutral about everyone that or like I would prefer to use neutral language.
Yeah.
So like I look up to people, but they're not a hero and they're not an idol. I don't know if I'm making much sense. I
Yeah.
feel like it's it can be maybe a little dangerous to put someone in that box
Okay.
sometimes. Because if someone said that I was their hero or their idol, I would be like, no, but I make mistakes and like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every human makes mistakes and isn't like this perfect person. But yeah, people that I look up to at the moment, I just Hayley Williams is one.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, since I was a teenager, I've always loved her. I think she's great. She's so talented, and I think that she uses her platform as well, like well, to speak out up about social politics and stuff. And there's a musician and activist called No Name.
Mhm.
And yeah, she's great. She runs a book club for people that are incarcerated in America at the moment, and like works hard to like educate people in prison. Who else? Let me think. Pussy Riot, so cool.
Amen.
Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously, Pussy Riot. They're just fucking great. So brave. I really admire Pussy Riot's just like they're just unafraid of any repercussions. They're just so dedicated to the cause. Yeah, they're brilliant. Um, yeah, there's obviously so many more people, but I think they're probably the main three at the moment.
Amazing. And do you see Witch Fever as the same as activists? I feel like you completely are.
Yeah, people. This is again, this is a hard one. We have been described as activists in like articles and stuff. I find it difficult claiming the word activist for myself because I, in my head, I would give the term activist to someone that makes it part of their like everyday life to like really be fighting against oppression and like I don't know, maybe it's even part of their job, like they work for charities and stuff. But I guess on stage, yeah, we do definitely speak out about things that we feel is important. We've just started a book club that we're doing every month, so
Fantastic.
we're using that to talk a bit more about social politics and stuff that we we're on the word. I don't know, stuff we're passionate about. Someone once described us years ago as like the a feminist figurehead or something like that. And that kind of, I don't know, again, I think it's this sort of fear of like responsibility and people like looking up to me too much because it's like I mean we're like good people and you know we're trying our best and
Yeah.
we are educating ourselves more and more. But yeah, I always say that the perfect feminist is one that is always learning, and their journey as a feminist never comes to an end. It's never like you reach this perfect like status where you're like, I am a feminist and this is as far in the journey as I can go, and I'm like the queen bee kind of thing. Yeah, it's just a learning curve, I guess. I feel like I've gone off topic there.
Oh, not
I
at
don't even know what
all.
the question was.
Yeah. So the idea that you were all just doing our best, yeah,
Mm,
but we're human as well. And,
yeah,
yeah,
totally. And I think that so much pressure is put on artists at the moment, specifically women and queer artists, to be perfect and to never make any kind of small mistake. And I think that cancel culture can be important because it obviously like has showed like abusers for who they are and stuff. But I don't know, it's hard. I have the smallest amount of fame. I can't even imagine what it's like for someone that's like an actual celebrity, like sort of going around their daily life and everyone's waiting for them to trip up just for like a headline or just to like gossip about. Um, yeah.
yeah, definitely. So I guess it's developing inner knowing that you're okay and that you're doing your best.
Yeah,
Do you ever meditate or anything like that to
I
sort of
don't.
ground yourself? No?
I actually don't. No, I don't. I don't meditate. I've tried it before. I find it kind of hard, and it's never something that I felt like I needed to do.
Yeah,
Like my body has never pushed me to do that.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that'll happen at some point in the future. Yeah.
And interesting because a lot of this stuff is getting so much mainstream attention now in terms of its benefits to your health and well-being. And my
Hmm.
students were talking about the earthing movie yesterday, like should we all just go outside and stand on the grass, and I was like, okay. Yeah, it's getting a lot of attention because it's things that have been forgotten or misplaced by other things, and just kind of brings
Hmm.
me to level, and my sleep's better, and it's said that it can help with psychic abilities and intuition and stuff like that
Hmm.
if you do it. But I'm trying to get my friends to really start doing it now because it would be really beneficial. But even like 5 minutes on YouTube, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But like you said, it's like, are you called to do it? That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe I am. I don't know. Like, I do feel like glued to my phone. And like, I'm
yeah,
always
same.
scrolling on my phone, stuff like that. So I feel like maybe meditation would help in that it would be like 5 or 10 minutes where I'm not doing that. But I read a lot, so in a way,
Yeah,
that's kind of like meditative for me.
massively. Yeah,
Um, and I like listen to audiobooks and stuff, and that kind of has a similar effect
yeah, yeah.
on me.
Yeah. Are you really into the horror genre?
Yeah.
Amazing. Can you give us some favorites?
Oh God, there's so many. Films would be like obviously Carrie, great. I love it. Um,
Mhm.
to be honest, books and films. I love it. I love like what A24 do at the moment, obviously, like Hereditary and The
Yeah.
Witch, Saint Maud, that was amazing. God, there's so many. Evil Dead. Evil Dead's one of my favorites, and I love every remake as well.
Yeah.
There's a new one in the cinema came out, so I'm gonna go and see that. I'm very excited.
Do you ever go to the horror con in Manchester?
No, I've never been.
No, it's really good. I've been twice and then I missed this year because I can't even remember, but it's way bigger now. It's like a big, huge event now, but it used to be quite small and you could queue to meet people like the Lost Boys,
Hmm.
like that. It was,
I need to go.
and it sounds like that really influences your music, your lyrics. What about your new album? Like, what kind of direction is that going in?
Um, so we're sort of halfway through writing it at the moment. It's we're trying to branch out a bit. We're It's more experimental in that it's not like just like back to back riffs. Our first album very much um built sort of like a foundation for what witch fever is, and kind of was like, this is what we're all about. And now we have a bit more room to play. So it's going to be heavier. It's going to be doomier, I think, more experimental, but it's also going to be in places less heavy. I think we're just going to play around and like see whatever makes us excited,
That's so,
really.
yeah.
Yeah, and lyrically, I'm switching it up. Not so much about like congregation was very much about the church and like my experiences in it, and it was very much about trauma and stuff, and now I'm sort of moving away from that, and I think that will always be a part of my lyric writing, but yeah, I'm definitely switching it up.
Feel free, you don't need to answer this, but have you had any therapy for trauma?
So I was recently diagnosed with autism, so I've done therapy all my life and was diagnosed with many different things that it turns out it was all just autism.
Wow.
So yeah, interestingly, that is something that I've been processing at the moment. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's important to be open about that. There's lots of women and non-binary people at the moment that have just been forgotten or ignored by medicine, and because medicine doesn't know enough about the way that autism presents in non-men. So yeah, that's something. Yeah, I have done lots of therapy. Nothing trauma. I've not done trauma therapy. I've done stuff like CBT, I think it's called DBT, like all that, talking therapy, everything. But yeah, I'm in sort of like a new chapter at the moment, just like figuring out where to go with it. Yeah,
Wow. And do you feel like differently? Do you feel like you've processed stuff?
I feel like I'm way kinder to myself now,
Yeah.
for sure. And I feel like I know more where my boundaries are and like why they are boundaries. Like I get a sensory overload a lot with lots of different things, and like before I didn't really understand why it was, what was happening, and now it's very clear that it was just the autism. So yeah, it's made it a lot easier to be able to set boundaries and be able to be like, I need to rest now, I need to get out of this environment. Yeah, it's been good, actually. It's been good. There's part of me that feels sad that it's taken so long.
Mhm.
And I feel angry that no one picked up on it before now, because I'm 27 now, so it's a long time. But yeah, I'm happy that I'm at this point now.
Just being kind to yourself on all levels is just
Hmm.
so. And I think, especially if you've been in an environment where that wasn't really encouraged or the case, it's almost like a radical act being kind to yourself and being like, actually, I'm all right. I'm going to
Yeah,
remove myself from this situation.
yeah, totally.
So obviously you do use a lot of tarot imagery on
Hmm.
your merch and on your graphics. You do read tarot at all?
I do. Yep. Not every day. It's not something that's a routine. I do want it to become a routine.
Yeah,
I just find it so interesting. And every time I do it, there just does seem to be something that's relevant, or that maybe in a subtle way predicts what is like next for me.
yeah,
Yeah, I love it. I definitely like believe in it, for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Hmm.
So here are my cards. I can see them. Um,
Oh.
they say that for a lot of self-identifying witches, you have a modality that is your main way of communicating or tapping into the universe. And I would say for me, it's definitely cards for sure.
Hmm.
And it's so funny because I used to be so scared of them. And
Mm.
whenever I would look at them, yeah, they would be like scary accurate. And then I would be like, oh, put them away.
Yeah.
Scared. Now it's like I need to actually use my gifts. Like I need to use them.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've read for loads of people now. I read for Brix, Isabel Campbell, loads of other people as well. This band in New York who you would love called Desert Sharks.
Nice.
Awesome as well. They're going to be on the podcast as well. So I wondered if I had your permission, can I pull a couple of cards for you?
Yep, of course.
Yeah, okay. So much fun. And they just fall out. I don't pick them for you. Like they just
Hmm.
fall out. Yeah. So
Yep.
So I do this like every Friday on the podcast Instagram. So we've got one.
Nice.
Whoa, okay, falling out now. So the first one you got was the Emperor. This is like quite a masculine energy, but when I say masculine, I mean not as in a kind of gendered sense, but in just the energy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is someone that's determined, that's also, are you quite caring with your friends? Are you the
Mm-hmm.
person they come to and they're like, help
Yeah.
me, my boyfriend did this? Yeah, you're very much the one they come to and trust, almost like the leader of the group. Obviously you're the front person as well, your band. So no coincidences there, but it's quite a masculine energy that you're in. And talking about the music industry, do you feel that you have to be in that energy, be taken seriously?
I guess so. I am trying to pull away from that a little bit as well, and like I'm very forthcoming, and I can be like I'm outspoken, and I can be confrontational if I need to be, but also I'm kind of learning that femininity is powerful as well, and like I'm allowed to lean into that more just because I'm in a space that is mainly male. I don't have to match that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so you're that and being like, it's
Mhm.
okay. And then the flip side of that, we've got the Queen of Pentacles.
Nice.
So this is a really respected feminine energy as well. So it could well be that the fact that you're realizing that it's okay to express that in the music space, that's going to really push through some boundaries and barriers for some people,
Mhm.
yourself included. And it looks like you're really going to gain power in terms of being a witch as well. It's
That's
developing
good.
rapidly. So it looks like you're really owning that, even above and beyond what you do now, which
Mhm.
is hella cool. And to get like two from kind of masculine, feminine energy shows a level of balance. And like you said, you're in a better place. You're feeling more like in a new chapter. So that makes a lot of
Mhm.
sense to me. Does that resonate? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the weirdest reading last week with someone I know, and it came out the mother card, and she was like, I haven't told anyone, but yes, I'm pregnant. I was like,
Oh my god.
are you going to be going out to Europe, US at all?
Um, Hopefully. It's definitely on the cards. Nothing's booked yet, but it is something that is just like it will happen. So yeah, that'll be exciting. We've been to Europe before, love to go again, but US is definitely where we want to break into next.
Yeah,
That'll be
I
fun.
think they'll love you. They will love you. That's great. And then the new album, have we got a rough date for that?
No idea. It will be next year.
Cool. So we're looking forward to it. We've
I
covered
think
a
I
lot of
think that's
ground.
yeah, I think that's all good. Yeah.
You do really embody the message of the pod, which is self power and pushing through the bullshit.
Yeah,
So thank you.
totally. That's great. Thank you for having me.
What an amazing story Amy Walpole from Witch Fever has. Pushing through religious trauma and oppression to turn it into great art. Rejecting the bullshit and the satanic panic to stand in her truth was just mind-blowing to hear, and I really, really respect what they do. If you want to join their book club, check out the links on their Instagram bio at Witch Fever. They are out on tour August and September around the UK, so look out for them in a venue near you. Thank you so much for listening. The Songs Are Spells podcast has been produced and presented by me, Karlyn King. Check out the Patreon community on our bio link and in the show notes. Connect with me on social media at Songs Are Spells Podcast and on TikTok at Songs Are Spells, and look out for Tarot Friday every Friday.